Hello, everybody. I am Patrick Daugherty, joined by Mr. Denny Carter. Welcome to the stunning conclusion of Rotoworld Draft Day, or actually, we should say the prelude to the conclusion, because at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, something Hawaiian time and Alaskan time, we have the Rotoworld PPR Mock Draft, where Denny and myself are joined by some of the biggest names in the industry, Fantasy Life's Ian Hartitz, the Deep Shots, Andy Behrens, streamer extraordinaire, Mr. Davis Maddock, and so many of our other friends. Really, really great time. Really great draft. A lot of interesting builds in that one, Denny. But we're here to take your questions for 30 minutes. We've had our Superflex mock today. We've had our Best Ball mock. We had a live edition of the Rotoworld Football Show. We had a live Q&A earlier today. So why don't we cap it with another Q&A? And Denny, there's been no football news at all.
Unfortunately, just bereft of football news. Wait, I'm hearing that the biggest trade in recent NFL history happened between the time we recorded our previous podcast and this one.
So can I give you my very quick take on it, and then you give me a more elaborate take on it?
Micah Parsons to the Packers.
Yeah. Bad trade for both sides.
Wow, yeah.
Real dumb deal for both teams. Like, Cowboys is just like a temper tantrum that's not accomplishing anything. Packers, I don't know. I guess I could put them over the top. Just seemed like kind of crazy to me for both teams. What is your take? And surely you might think this could not have possible ramifications in fantasy football, but then again, everything does. So what's your take? What are the ramifications in fantasy football?
So
real quick, also, Denny, this is a live Q&A. Feel free to get in your questions. Sorry to cut you off, Mr. Denny. Any questions, we will take them for the next 30 minutes. Micah Parsons, Denny.
To talk about the analytics, the Cowboys had a league-leading 30% pressure rate last year. Okay, and it was that leading by a good margin, right? So you got to lower that pretty significantly now. That means teams will be able to feast on their defense. It could have one of two effects. One of them is good for fantasy. One of them is not so good. One is that teams can sustain drives and just absolutely destroy this Cowboys defense one dink and dunk at a time. The quarterback is never pressured. That means that the Cowboys offense has a tough time getting on the field. That's bad. Another outcome is that they are so putrid on defense, the Cowboys are, that teams just run up and down the field on them, and the Cowboys are forced to abandon the run every single week. I think that that's probably more likely, and it's great, obviously, for Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson, and, that's about it.
That's about it. But, okay, here's a question. Not one we really ever talk about in the show, but we should. For those of us who still do defense in their leagues, I still have defense in several leagues. Kickers, even more of an endangered species than team defenses. Does this make a significant impact for the Packers? And Denny, I don't know if you'll have an answer on this or not. My answer is the problem is that it's just such a loaded division for the Packers. Like, they got 6 pretty tough divisional games. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this means 9 sacks combined of Caleb Williams in their 2 games against the Bears. I guess it is a lot of young quarterbacks, and then Jared Goff, who can go sitting duck mode. I just said to say the problem for Micah Parsons from a team defense perspective is this is one of the fiercest divisions in the entire NFL. And that's just 6 games right off the bat that are going to be really, really tough for this Packers defense. But do you have a different take on that, or any take at all? It's a defense question.
Packers last year had a 22% pressure rate, which is like middle of the league. I'm guessing that Parsons, if he's healthy, which honestly, who knows at this point?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean,
you think he's fine?
Yeah, I mean, never been a faker injury in the history of the planet. But
yeah, I mean, I was trying to give him the benefit of that. But if you're going to pile on,
I'm sure there's going to be like a winking emoji here soon. Yeah, back healed up.
Yes. Yeah, right. His posts have been all over the place. I will say,
man, he's an erratic poster.
Not really. All he does is podcast too. I feel like he podcasts more than you and I.
Yeah, it's insane. By the way, we didn't even shout out Micah Parsons did 3 hours of Rotoworld Draft Day content. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Micah.
Anyway, I mean, the Packers having a better defense might be better for Josh Jacobs, as far as like just establishing it and like having a heavy run approach in neutral game script, positive game script, that sort of thing. But I'm kind of reaching there as far as what it means for the offense.
Get those questions in. We'll be here until 8 p.m. Eastern. JM is with us very frequently. He's joking about JCM, Bill, as we call him, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and his meteoric ADP rise, partly justified, partly hype-fueled. Obviously justified in that he got the starter traded to the San Francisco 49ers. He is now the early down back. I guess I would just use this as an opportunity to ask you, what is your current take on Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt? He's going to be one of the most discussed players all across America this weekend as people draft their fantasy teams.
If he inherits the whole Brian Robinson role, he's going to have a shot to score double-digit touchdowns. 24 inside the 10 rushes for Brian Robinson last year. That's a lot. It was near the top of the league. If JCM Bill, whatever the kids are calling him, if he gets most of that, I mean, that's very valuable. Now, is he like game script proof? Absolutely not. In games where Washington has to chase, which honestly there shouldn't be a lot of those, but in those games it's Eckler, and I don't think Krosky-Merritt's going to be out there running a ton of routes and being able to kind of get there when things go awry for the Commanders. But certainly just touchdown based upside. You're talking about, I don't know, a guy could easily be a top 12 overall scorer at the position.
I think he could. And like Jaden Daniels, he looms as a threat, but I just think, don't we get the sense he's going to be more like from the Lamar school near the goal line, where I get the idea Jaden Daniels understands, even though he takes too big a hit still sometimes out in the open field, that he doesn't want to like sacrifice himself at the goal line, and he might be more content to hand it off than like Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen. So I do think he can be a very, very profitable role for JCM, and he could be the rare guy, increasingly rare, I should say, running back in 2025 who gets by on touchdowns alone.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this sort of running back get there for fantasy, be good for fantasy. I think of Gus Edwards back when he was in Baltimore with Lamar. I think of Alfred Morris back in the day lining up next to RG3, and how these guys are able to benefit from defenses that are just on their heels with a quarterback that can burn them on the ground. And Jaden Daniels certainly fits that description.
Michelle joins us frequently all season. Hello, Michelle. Here's to a good 2025 for your teams. She is wondering, what is the best IR choice? Brandon Ayuk, seems like maybe more 6 games for him. Chris Godwin, 3 or 4 games. Joe Mixon, at least 4. Tajay Spears, probably only 4. Stashing, kind of a new thing to fantasy football. IR spots were not very common until the past 3 or 4 years. Who's your preferred stash here, Denny?
Stash. I really hate to say this, but it absolutely depends on your roster build. So, if you're going to need to like draw lottery tickets for running backs, I actually kind of think Mixon is the play here. In case like a miracle happens and he's able to play at some point.
He'll play. I think he's only going to miss 4 games. I think they're just being cagey. I think he is by far the best choice here because Nick Chubb isn't going to run with the job. Woody Marks is not a 3-down back. Dameon Pierce, I mean, I guess the light could come on for Dameon Pierce, but just doesn't seem like he's that guy.
I don't think so.
Mixon, despite the uncertain timeline, maybe the best combination of certainty and upside is Ayuk. But we know that it's going to be the first half of the season. The problem is we don't know when. And that's what I'd say the big problem.
I don't mind Ayuk if he falls, but I do feel like people are kind of outsmarting themselves by taking him at ADP and being like, well, I have a wide receiver 1 for the back half of the season. I mean, do you? Are you sure?
Yeah. Maybe not even on the 49ers.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, with Brandon Ayuk. So let's see here. You guys, you got any fantasy questions? Got any fantasy football questions? Jam does have another one. Which are you underweight, overweight on that you're the most worried is going to burn you this year? Denny, I have a few different answers to this. Do you have one that comes to mind?
My overweight situation is I'm a dad, so it goes. JMO. I'm so overweight on JMO, and I feel like it's just coming apart right now. It's coming apart.
Coming apart? Seriously, have you've lost all perspective on this?
This Tesla thing is freaking me out.
He's not JMO. Before Tesla was getting hyped this offseason, JMO was just getting hyped again. He was hyped all last offseason, and he converted. You don't need to hear about him because he's taking care of business.
All I hear about is Tesla is the face of the franchise, and that makes me nervous.
It doesn't make me nervous at all. That just means they have a third receiver. Like, congratulations to Detroit Lions. I don't think it really has anything to do.
He's going to catch so many touchdowns, dude.
But you know who I'm overweight on? Tesla is going to catch. What are you talking?
So many.
All right, no, we got to. Denny needs the regular season. Is what I would say. I'm overweight on. I feel like the dumbest possible answer. Like, who are you overweight on? Some random low end tight end one. Where I for some unknown
Evan
reason,
Ingram.
have Evan Ingram
Sorry.
in every single league. And the ADP was just right all summer. I keep using the phrase easy button receptions. I just think that was something sorely missing from the Broncos offense last year. They made it a priority with Evan Ingram. He fits the role to a T. And I just think he's going to catch so many PPR scam passes this year.
Oh, he's just such a scammer.
So that's how I got all in on the most mid quote-unquote player in the entire NFL.
I'm also very, very heavy on Calvin Ridley, like almost to the point of absurdity.
Yeah, well, that's always worked out for everyone in the past.
And I told Pat this past week, because he said, well, you're going to get the Fell for It Again award, and I know what he's saying. I've never fallen for Calvin Ridley. This is I've always said absolutely not, never Ridley. And this year I'm like, I'm in.
There's lots of people getting Fell for It Again Lifetime Achievement Awards with Calvin Ridley this year. So you're late to the party. I implored Elliot to ask a question. He has. Now many other have asked questions. We're going to try to get to as many as we possibly can. Denny, what are you doing with the Seattle wide receivers? You did talk about this earlier today. I kind of laughed at you. What are you doing with the Seattle wide receivers?
You did. And I wasn't mad that you laughed. Look, I was reading reports after our show because I just wanted to confirm something that I remember reading, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp is the slot receiver for the Seahawks. I don't know how else to say it, guys. It's a problem.
It's not an old guy. It's just not a problem. It really, like, this is a very classic to me, like, talent will take care of itself situation.
But that's the thing, Pat.
You cannot worry about the old bones they brought in to be the wide receiver.
JSN, not good, and he's going to be on the outside.
JSN was pretty good last year.
He was pretty good. I mean,
he was a not good superstar as a rookie. He was pretty darn good last year, actually. In the games where they let him cook both inside and out, he was like borderline dominant.
I just think usage is going to be big for him, and I do not understand his ADP.
I do not understand. Do you know how many games Cooper Kupp has played since 2021? Like, you can't let Cooper Kupp sideline you from a good player.
I mean, I'm not drafting him either, just to be clear.
Let me be clear. Let's see here. Zinku, macro strategy question. Macro strategy. Do you feel like taking elite QB in round 3 is a must on a condensed roster? I do not. Do you, Denny?
No.
You don't have to laugh.
I'm sorry.
Why don't you respect? They're here
I'm
asking
sorry.
us questions, and
I'm
you're
so
laughing.
sorry. You're right.
We've been talking to you
Absolutely.
about this.
The answer is no. The answer is no. The answer is no. But
it just is no because quarterback's always deep. It was not as deep last year. I think it is as deep as it had been, as we've been used to in recent decades. This year, it feels much deeper to me this year, Denny.
Just get Justin Fields in this format, you'll be fine.
You just said JSN wasn't good. Now you're telling people to take Justin Fields. Talk about a true never good first team All-Pro. Like the Associated Press just released its first team preseason All-Pro balloting. Never good.
Never good.
And Justin Fields is
the starter. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is QB2.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence can only make the honorable mention squad. Yeah.
Justin Fields runs 10 times a game. I don't know what to tell you guys.
He's going to get hurt, I think, too. But whatever. I don't feel the need to force quarterback early this year, even with the breakaway tier at the top. I just don't feel the need that acutely. There's so many guys in the Trevor Lawrence zone, like the QB 16 or 18, who could be legit QB 1s. You have Dak Prescott, who's like the QB 11 or 12, could be easily the QB 4 or 5. I just don't think it's a year you really need to force it. Denny, what are your thoughts on RJ Harvey? You have got, so I'm shouting you down on a lot of things this week because we've been talking so much. RJ Harvey, you did get me a little spooked. But why don't you share your RJ Harvey thoughts with this audience who has maybe not heard them yet?
Yeah. Look, J.K. Dobbins reportedly made a swift transition to the Denver offense. Sean Payton, as recently or like hours after Dobbins was signed, he was like, it's too early to project the running back depth chart. Dobbins got a lot of snaps with the starters in training camp. He rotated with Harvey in the preseason. Blocking pass protection means a lot to coaches. It means even more somehow to Sean Payton. He's talked about it a lot. RJ Harvey struggled with that in college. He struggled with that in training camp per reports. J.K. Dobbins was elite in that measure per PFF the last 2 years. So I think that all roads lead to Dobbins getting first crack at being the starter, and maybe Harvey emerges later in the season. I think that's the best case scenario for Harvey.
Maybe first crack for J.K. Dobbins, but my word of caution on J.K. Dobbins, other than he's J.K. Dobbins, which I feel like is enough word of caution there, is Sean Payton always designs a good running game, has a good rushing attack. Not really as good as Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh. And he ran out of gas completely, even for Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman. It couldn't make it through the year. They couldn't prop him up. I just kind of feel like if they couldn't prop him up, I don't think Sean Payton can prop J.K. Dobbins up. And R.J. Harvey could be a frustrating guy in September.
Yeah,
I do sort of think by October, maybe that starts to take off there. It is an uncertain situation. The Broncos backfield is a situation we just need week 1 to get here. Denny, you're a Titans fan since '69 this year, Titans aficionado. Who's the second pass catcher going to be? Is it Chig or is it Alec Ayumaner? Is it Tyler Lockett? Who's your choice for the second pass catcher?
I mentioned in the earlier podcast, I'm losing track of podcasts because we're doing so many. We're providing so much content for the folks. Ayumaner played like 85+% of the preseason snaps with Cam Ward under center. He was targeted on almost 28% of his routes in the preseason. Very productive. Ayumaner drew a lot of praise from Cam Ward. So I would think that he would be the most likely guy to be the number 2. And possibly not just a deep ball specialist. That might be Lockett in this offense, honestly. I know that sounds crazy.
Could be. Ayumaner could probably be the deep ball.
Ayumaner is a really good downfield pass catcher. He showed that a lot in college, obviously. But I would say Ayumaner is the best bet to be the number 2.
Denny, by the way, the person who asked us about the quarterbacks earlier, Cowboys fan in Europe, drowning his sorrows at 2 a.m. So please, we did answer his question. So
sorry, man.
He said he's drinking himself silly in Europe because they traded Micah Parsons.
The key is never be a fan.
Never ever. No, stop. Armando Guzman is wondering, why is it when he goes receiver heavy early, he finds himself feeling receiver FOMO in the middle to late rounds? Should he contact his doctors, the authorities, or his therapist? The reason it is because there's a real big wide receiver 4 tier this year, kind of like the Rashid Shaheed tier, I would call it, where there's just a lot of intriguing guys in that range. Does that give you a pause at all on hammering wide receiver early this year, Denny?
I want to say, Armando, it's perfectly normal and fine to feel, what did you say? To feel a fear of missing out in the middle rounds.
Because it didn't more in the middle rounds, like Josh Downs, Stephon Diggs, Jacoby Myers, Ricky Pearsall, Rome Odunze, Khalil Shakir, Abuka, Pittman, Matthew Golden. It's a pretty loaded tier to his point. Does it make it less of a necessity to just go so wide receiver crazy as we've gotten used to in fantasy drafts this decade?
As much as it pains me to say this, I believe that is a valid argument and a valid way to approach a draft. If you're confident that Ricky Pearsall is going to dominate wide receiver targets in San Francisco, and you have good reason, if you're confident Abuka is going to go off with no Godwin, and that makes sense, who are some of the other guys in that tier? I'm sorry,
I just listed so many different names: Rome Odunze, Jacoby Myers,
Steph
Diggs, Matthew Golden, Rashid Shaheed, Jaden Reed before he got hurt.
I would say so. I would say this strategy of waiting until the middle rounds to grab a receiver or two, it probably for me hinges on Pearsall or Abuka. The rest of the guys I don't know are that
maybe Matthew Golden
different. I'm not even no.
The archetype of guys with unknown upside. I would say you're hoping for unknown upside, or maybe a Spencer Rattler and Rashid Shaheed having like a preternatural chemistry, which I don't think they do.
I don't know, man. Maybe I
Julio Think You Are is wondering about wide receiver sleepers. These are kind of deep sleepers. Deontay Thornton on the Raiders, Torrey Horton on the Seahawks. Do not put it in the paper that we keep like kind of mixing them up. They're really similar names, both rookies. Both they are 2-3 picks. Do you prefer either of them? Do you prefer neither of them? I'm not finding either of them to be like a must-have accessory this drafting season.
Certainly not in 12-team formats. Deontay Thornton should be downfield exclusively kind of guy. So very frustrating if you're going to try to rely on him.
I'm getting a bleep eating grin because I do remember now reading a report that like Torrey Horton, like he could be cutting into Cooper Kupp. Denny.
Sure.
Be cutting into his snaps.
Listen,
what do you have to say for
they
yourself?
love Torrey Horton. I wrote about Torrey Horton before the draft. Very productive, very efficient pass catcher. His metrics profile was pristine almost. I felt like he was very overlooked. I think he is going to force the Seahawks to give him starter snaps.
Let's see. Who will that be at the expense of?
I'm guessing it's Cooper Kupp. I'm not discounting JSN.
This did inbox. You got to stop. Here, dude, you got to stop, man.
Are we live?
This is live, man.
Wait, we're live. What I meant was
you got to stop.
No, I mean, Torrey Horton would be my pick pretty easily out of those two.
Michael Haynes, wondering about cheap options in a deep super flex league. You tell him about your guy Cam Ward and why you love him as a deep, cheap option in super flex leagues. I might throw a few names onto the pile.
Cam Ward didn't really run much at Miami in college. That often changes in the NFL when rookies.
I wouldn't say often, but it changes sometimes.
It sometimes changes.
Sorry,
and especially when because rookies are not prone to stand back there and try to dissect a defense and make 4 or 5 reads before throwing it. They make 2 reads and they go. And
that's a pretty fair point.
And that's good. And Cam Ward, from what I've seen, very conscientious about not taking the big hit, gets out of bounds, does not get crushed, in the upper body or whatever. Like he's careful. He's also just a dog. He makes the kind of confident throws that you don't really see from rookies all that often. I think he's in many ways the anti-Trevor Lawrence, where Trevor Lawrence never looks confident when he's making a difficult throw. Cam Ward looks like he expects to make that tight window throw. I love the kid.
So Cam Ward's like the true deep sleeper, even though Denny and I love to keep pointing out, he's the number 1 overall pick. Pretty insane. He can't get any hype, but if you're starting to feel nervous at quarterback, like, man, I missed out on all like the sure things. It's a super flex. I mean, Michael Penix is the guy who definitely has the attempts are a quarterback stat upside where he could just throw 1,000,000 times. He could produce 4,500 yards. That would be a real high upside outcome. But Penix is a guy with probably a lot of upside relative to ADP. JJ McCarthy, of course, has upside relative to ADP. CJ Stroud. I mean, so Trevor Lawrence is the obvious bounce back candidate. CJ Stroud's maybe like the slightly riskier, maybe not quite as high upside bounce back candidate, but maybe even higher upside bounce back candidate. But the true sleeper, it's Cam Ward. That's if you don't count Bryce Young, which I don't.
We don't have a Jaden Daniels.
We have like two, maybe like the destitute mans, and that Jackson Dart could be like the real. But Denny and I keep stashing Jackson Dart in our Superflex.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And I think he's like the skeleton key to Superflex. But what I mean is like a 17-game starter, a guy who's going to start week 1. We don't have that. I think the closest thing to Jaden Daniels this year is Cam Ward.
We got a lot. We don't have much time, but we got a lot of questions. I'm trying to find the best ones. Trone Force has a trade question. Will we trade Austin Eckler and Cooper Kupp? Not good. For Travion Henderson and Brandon Aubrey. Wow. Cowboys kicker. 2 for 2s. The very first rule for 2 for 2. Who is the best player in the trade? It's Travion Henderson, far and away the best player in this trade. I think it makes it worth it, even with the kicker as the kicker. Do you agree, Denny?
I don't care about the kicker. No. This is a slam dunk. Would I trade? So you're trading away Eckler and Kupp.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing, like, be prepared for a little blowback, like in the group text. Like, this is stupid. Like, why did this trade go through?
You do that and you shut it. You just zip it. And you profit because that's an amazing trade.
Well, I mean, listen, Travion just like could be a third down like bit player, but this is a slam dunk.
Don't think so.
Be prepared for some blowback. Is the Panthers running back situation? Hello, Chad. Chad always here. Just going to turn in what the Titans did with Pollard and Spears. I was worried about Trevor Etienne. Worried about Rico Dowdle. I'm not really Rico. I don't know why Rico didn't land in a better spot, but he just didn't. And I have a hard time seeing him like stealing meaningful work from Chuba Hubbard. What do you think, Denny? We haven't talked about the Panthers running back situation almost at all on this show this year.
Not too much. There's not much indication that Chuba won't be just the guy. I mean, I guess he could lose
He caught too many passes last year. Like, they actually need to get that number down from him. He's not a good pass catcher. Like, I'm saying, like they threw him the ball too much last year.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a ton of news on Hubbard this offseason. He played with the starters in the preseason. He played with the starters almost throughout the entire training camp for Carolina. We have a report here from a couple weeks ago that Chuba is getting, quote, overwhelming majority of touches in the backfield. So I think that it's a long way from a timeshare sort of backfield.
I do too. Joseph Garcia, thoughts in the Browns backfield other than, like, I don't know, we kind of don't know. But
yeah,
Quinshon Judkins, still not technically an NFL player, will not sign his contract. Seriously, just accidentally called him Gerald Ford. Jerome Ford appears to be the starter. Dylan Sampson, we're hoping, is the change up. Any more complex thoughts than that, Denny?
No. I'm taking shots on these guys pretty much everywhere I can. I think they're good 0 RB targets. I think Ford could. Sorry if you hear my dog. He's very upset about the Browns backfield. I gotta tell you guys, I wouldn't be like shocked if if Ford comes out and just is the RB1 in week 1. Will that hold? I don't know, but I think he could start.
You think Jerome Ford could start? I mean, he's starting, right? Are you saying Sampson?
Well, no, I mean, because I think the assumption is that Sampson's just going to get the whole thing.
Oh yeah, no, Jerome Ford's starting. I think a lot of people are assuming Sampson will be the change up. Hopefully, I hope that's what they're assuming, because that's what's happening.
We're hearing from different people.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Well, that's another situation. We just need the regular season to get here. What are your thoughts on the Panthers receivers after they were confident enough in that group to trade Adam Thielen to the Minnesota Vikings? Tirico McMillan, Jalen Coker, of course, also Xavier Legette, already a mega bust as a first-round pick. But what do you think of the Panthers receiver corps?
Who's a mega bust?
Xavier Legette. I mean, come on, it's already over.
I thought you were talking about the Bryce Assance.
Well, yeah, that's about that too. But Legette already a bust. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, but that was never going to work. You said that the owner of the Panthers saw him at a sports bar one time.
No. Do you remember what it actually was? Where he saw they played college football begins this weekend. They played an opening weekend kickoff game in Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
At the South Carolina. And he saw Legette go off there. I know for a fact that's what happened.
That's absolutely what happened. I mean, look, people I respect, they love Jalen Coker. They are really into him. So I guess you could do worse as a late round dart throw. But McMillan should be the clear wide receiver 1 here.
Coker's a really, really interesting late round dart throw. We're almost out of time. The PPR mock draft's about to get going. Aaron Gates and President Ford get back in there, pick up that first down. Elia, good question to take us out on. How long until the Chiefs make a move at running back? Unlock the Patrick we miss, the Patrick we love, Mahomes. The Chiefs kept 4 running backs. They don't seem like they know what to do at running back, Denny. What are your closing thoughts on the Chiefs running back situation?
It seems like, from reports, Pacheco is going to get like a real shot at being the guy, like the primary back who sees most of the pass catching role. If he struggles, I think that they will be quicker. The Chiefs will be quicker to incorporate other people into that role, including Brashard Smith, the rookie, than they were last year or in previous seasons.
This is the true last question. The novelist, he's wondering, is Amarian Hampton truly the number 2 rookie running back after Ashton Genty? I didn't really see anyone pushing him this summer, Denny. It never truly manifested the hype for Jaden Blue, really for Dylan Sampson. RJ Harvey having a poor summer. I just don't see anyone pushing Amarian Hampton right now behind Ashton. Who else would be? JCM, Bill, Jaden Blue, Dylan Sampson, like a long shot.
Oh, no, I think it's just Hampton. I mean, it's boring, but yeah, it's Hampton.
Yeah, it's boring. It is just Hampton, unfortunately. We hope this was not boring. We know our PPR mock draft, which is currently going to go live on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel, is not boring. Again, many thanks to all of our friends for joining us for that. Many thanks to all of our viewers, listeners, readers for joining us for this, for our earlier Q&A. Thanks in advance for joining us for our Q&As during the season. I cannot believe next week is week 1. So for Denny Carter, I'm Patrick Daugherty. We hope you've had a good summer. We hope you have successful drafts this weekend. We'll catch you very, very soon.